Authorities have specifically dismantled operations linked to the Ndrangheta's Piromali clan for exporting toxic pomace oil to chains in New York, Boston, and Chicago under premium labels. The label is technically legal. The product is fundamentally fraudulent. Method 3. Chemical degradation. Even if an olive oil starts out as authentic extra virgin, it can degrade below that standard before it ever reaches your kitchen. Heat, oxygen, and ultraviolet light destroy the polyphenols and drive up free fatty acidity. A clear plastic bottle sitting under fluorescent warehouse lighting for months is actively oxidizing. And here's the regulatory failure. The USDA grading standards for olive oil are entirely voluntary. Producers are not required to submit their products for testing. The FDA treats olive oil fraud as an economic nuisance, not a public health crisis. So millions of bottles of rancid oil sit legally on American shelves. The brands that fail. Bertolli, $7 million settlement. Bertolli is owned by D'Olio, a massive Spanish conglomerate. They agreed to a $7 million class action settlement for fraudulently labeling their oil as imported from Italy and extra virgin. The litigation proved that olives were grown globally, blended in Italian facilities to exploit the labeling loophole, and the oil routinely degraded below EVOO standards before reaching consumers. Independent testing by Consumer Lab downgraded Bertolli to virgin status, meaning it legally failed to meet the criteria for extra virgin. The clear plastic packaging accelerates photooxidation every minute it sits on the shelf. Verdict: fail. Filippo Berio, $5 million settlement. Filippo Berio paid a $5 million settlement for the exact same deception. The front label screamed, "Imported from Italy." The microscopic back label admitted the oil came from olives grown in Tunisia, Greece, and Spain. They failed UC Davis sensory panels. They did not meet the chemical or taste parameters for extra virgin. Same playbook as Bertolli. Same verdict. Fail. Pompeian. Rated Lampante. This is America's best-selling olive oil brand, and this is where it gets disturbing. Pompeian participates in industry certification programs, so the baseline chemistry checks out. No canola oil blended in, but chemical purity is not the same as quality. Independent sensory testing by Consumer Lab rated Pompeian's sample as Lampante, the lowest possible grade. That means the oil was so defective and oxidized it was technically unfit for human consumption without further industrial refining. Professional tasters have consistently described the aroma as overripe fruit, flat, tired, and deeply rancid. You're buying real olive fat. But by the time you open that plastic bottle, the medicinal polyphenols are gone. Verdict: fail. 3 of the biggest olive oil brands at Costco just failed this audit. If you want to know which bottles actually pass, and one of them might surprise you, hit subscribe. The safe picks are next. The caution zone. California Olive Ranch. Phthalate problem. California. Olive Ranch is a celebrated domestic producer, and their flagship 100% California line generally meets strict state standards. The oil is fresh, authentic, and polyphenol-rich. But there are 2 problems. First, they quietly introduced a destination series that blends California olives with bulk imports from Argentina, Chile, and Portugal. If you're not reading the fine print, you might not be getting a domestic product. Second, and this is the big one, a 2024 independent lab study tested popular olive oils for phthalates, toxic endocrine-disrupting chemicals from industrial plastics. California Olive Ranch tested at 2,646 parts per billion, among the highest concentrations in the entire study. That contamination likely comes from plastic tubing in their milling equipment or leaching from the plastic retail bottles. They also settled a Proposition 65 lawsuit over pesticide residues. Verdict: caution. Kirkland Signature, pure olive oil. Not what you think. This 3-liter jug at $22.50 looks like a steal. But read the label carefully. It explicitly states this is a blend of chemically refined olive oil and only 15% extra virgin. The refining process uses extreme heat and industrial alkalis to neutralize the flavor of defective olives, which simultaneously destroys every antioxidant and polyphenol. This oil is nutritionally sterile. It's perfectly safe for high-heat frying. But if you're buying it for heart health, you're paying for an empty promise. Verdict: caution. The bottles that actually pass. Number 3. Kirkland Signature 100% Spanish EVOO, $23 per 3 liters. At 23 cents per ounce, This is the bulk workhorse, cold extracted exclusively from Spanish olives. No multinational blending, no chaotic supply chain. The flavor profile is mild and mellow, which makes it ideal for everyday cooking where you don't need a peppery finishing oil. It's not going to win awards for complexity, but it's genuine, single-origin, extra virgin olive oil at a price point that almost nothing else on the market can touch. Number 2. Kirkland Signature Organic EVOO, $21 per 2 liters. This is the value fortress. It's a multi-country Mediterranean blend in a dark green plastic bottle, USDA Organic certified. Here's why it passes. It was the only imported mass-market brand out of 14 tested by UC Davis to successfully pass sensory evaluations across all regional samples. It carries the NAOOA certified quality seal, and independent testing in 2025 measured a polyphenol count of approximately 370 milligrams per kilogram, well above the 250 threshold the European Food Safety Authority requires to make cardiovascular health claims. At 31 cents per ounce, it's one of the best values in the entire grocery industry. Number 1. Kirkland Signature 100% Italian EVOO, $28 per 2 liters. This is the top pick, and it's not even close. This bottle features a completely traceable chain of Italian origin. Olives grown, pressed, and bottled exclusively in Italy. It carries a protected designation of origin certification, which legally binds the production to a specific geographic region under intense EU regulatory oversight. It has Bureau Veritas third-party supply chain certification. The flavor profile is robust, artichoke, herbaceous notes, and a distinct peppery finish from exceptionally high oleocanthal levels, the anti-inflammatory compound that works on the same enzymatic pathways as ibuprofen. At 41 cents per ounce, this is medicinal-grade olive oil at a fraction of boutique pricing. This single bottle completely bypasses the product of Italy loophole, the agro-mafia distribution network, and every supply chain vulnerability that plagues the rest of the industry. How to spot fake olive oil yourself. Before I close this out, here's the 5-point test you can run on any olive oil in any store. First, never buy oil in a clear bottle. Light destroys polyphenols. Look for dark green glass, amber glass, or opaque tin. Second, look for a harvest date, not a best by date. Best by dates are manipulated by bottlers to extend shelf life. A harvest date tells you exactly when those olives came off the tree. If the oil only shows a best by of 2026, those olives could have been harvested in late 2023. Third, check the price floor. In 2026, raw wholesale EVOO costs roughly $6.50 per liter at the producer level. By the time you add bottling, shipping, and retail markup, any premium olive oil selling under 35 cents an ounce at a standard grocery store is statistically suspect. Fourth, taste it. Real extra virgin should smell grassy, herbaceous, and intensely fruity. It should burn the back of your throat. That's the oleocanthal. If it smells like crayons or old walnuts and leaves a greasy film, it's rancid. Fifth, ignore product of Italy. Look instead for 100% Italian olives, traceable chain of Italian origin, or an official EUPDO certification seal. The fridge test is useless. And one more thing, throw out the fridge test. The internet myth that real olive oil solidifies in the refrigerator is scientifically debunked. UC Davis tested this in a controlled lab setting. None of the authentic extra virgin samples fully solidified after 180 hours. The solidification rate depends entirely on the olive variety, harvest time, and geographic latitude, not purity. The fridge test tells you absolutely nothing. Here's the math. A health-conscious household using 1 liter of olive oil per month would spend $600 to $1,000 a year buying verified single-origin oil from a boutique retailer. The Kirkland Signature 100% Italian EVOO covers that same year for $168. The Kirkland Organic drops it to $120. That's up to $880 in annual savings without sacrificing a single milligram of polyphenol content or a single point of chemical authenticity. And the health stakes aren't theoretical. A 2024 UK Biobank cohort study found that people with the highest omega-6 to omega-3 ratios, the exact ratio that spikes when seed oils are blended into your olive oil, suffered a 26% higher risk of dying from any cause and a 31% higher risk of cardiovascular death. If you're drizzling fake olive oil on your salad thinking you're protecting your heart, you're actively accelerating the damage. The olive oil aisle is not a grocery aisle. It's a crime scene with pretty labels. Skip Bertolli, skip Filippo Berio, skip Pompeian, buy the Kirkland Italian, and read every label like your health depends on it, because it does.